Our guest speaker, she hails from Fresno, California. Real simple. She breaks it down so simple and so methodical. It's like having a fireside chat with you. She got started because her husband, she has a husband, she has a daughter going to college, and she just wanted to make a few extra dollars. Kind of remind me of Debbie Davis. Just want to make a few extra dollars, get her nails done. But in that case, she wanted to make a few extra dollars to put her daughter through college. And her husband was having a problem with his back and said, I need to step up to the plate and help out the family. Not only did she step out and help the family out, but she stepped out and built a really solid organization. And you know what? She's the kind of woman that will just reach out and help anybody build their business. And we just love her to death because she is just an amazing young lady down in Fresno, California, regional director. Without further ado, the great Miss Evelyn Phipps. Good morning, dear.
Foremost, thank you so much for the lovely words and encouragement and everything you say about me. I would not be here right now if it wasn't for you and the Kings, because way back when I was a totally different person. And those of you who know me really good know what I'm talking about. So thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is our trip in Tahoe. And the reason is because it weighed really heavy on me. And you'll understand as I go on. First and foremost, it was lovely to meet so many different people. I just see them here on the call. I met Zoe Duffy. I met Mr. Brian Baker's team. I mean, it was just full of energy. Those of you that I didn't meet, I'm sorry. I should have went around and, I met Sam Foster. I got to see the legend himself. It was awesome. I couldn't even believe he was standing there, and I went up to him and I said, "Is that you, Sam Foster?" So it was really neat seeing people that you only see on the calls, because way back when we used to go to a lot of internationals and you were able to see people. So to see these people, Sherry on, sorry about that. I just remembered to come and fly from so far away. That was awesome. That was really awesome. That shows the dedication that these people want to succeed. So going forward, I hope what I'm going to say is going to resonate to some people, and I hope I don't offend anybody. But you got to remember where I came from. You just kind of say it straight, but I'm going to try to do it as nice as I can. And I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just going to say what I got out of Lake Tahoe and why I continue to go. Okay, because this was like my 6th or 7th time. But when we first started going, we didn't do everything that we were doing now. I want to say before the pandemic, somewhere like 2018, 2019 or something, we started doing this little group. And it's where you get 4 people in the middle, back to back, the chairs, and then 4 on the outside, like a circle, okay? And the people in the middle are not supposed to say anything, but just listen. And then Mr. Dean Torelli will give a topic. Okay, you got 3 minutes to tell the people in front of you why, whatever, like why you're not successful. Okay. And if you really follow it to heart, it's a good little training thing that they're doing to you, because this shows who you really are if you're being truthful and honest. Okay. So you do that for 3 minutes, and then you scoot to the next person, and then he'll give you another topic to talk about, okay? But it all stems around ACN and the person that you are, okay? So what I thought was really interesting was, and they ask you to go in groups that you're not with your people. So like when Mary used to come with me, I would not be with her. I would make sure we were in separate, because I already know her story. I want her to tell other people and vice versa. I don't go with my upline. I go on my own, and my upline goes on people that we don't know. So this is what made it even more interesting. As we're going about telling all those stories, I don't know, something just hit me, but we're not supposed to say nothing. And those of you that were there know what I'm talking about. If you're in the middle, you can't say nothing. Even though you want to give feedback, you can't. And it was just killing me. So I just sat there and smiled and sat there and smiled. When it was my turn and we had some of the same questions, I gave them the dirt and ugly. I let them know this is me being honest, me being truthful. Because when we first did that, when I first went and we were doing that exercise, I'm not kidding you guys. It hit me. It hit me where I actually started crying at the end because I thought, man, I'm telling complete strangers things about me. You get deep and down. And the people I was in, when you're in this business, you kind of can see and kind of read people. At least I think I can, because I can see when somebody's not really interested in the business. And I really don't even want to. I said, you know what? It's okay. It may or may not be for you. So in this incident, I can read what people were, when they were telling me their story. Okay. So when I told them my story, they looked at me and they just said, wow, it's really, I love your story. I love, this. And I go, and at the end, when everybody's done doing whatever, and it takes about 20 minutes or so, maybe longer, because you have 3 or so minutes for everybody to go through. We sit in a whole complete circle and we go, okay, did this help you? How did you get, what do you think about? And nobody was saying nothing. And I turn around, I go, nobody got nothing out of this? And I go, can I say something? Can I be honest? And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And they go, yeah. And I go, were you honestly being truthful? Were you really, really being truthful? And they look at me and they go, well, I go, did you guys hear my story? Because you have to tell it to different people. Not everybody hears the same category. And 2 of them said, yeah, I heard your story. It was amazing. Like, I know you were being truthful. I could tell. I go, yeah. I go, you know how truthful I was? It made me cry at the end. The first time I gave that story, because only the ones that are close to me really know me. They don't know my whole story. Yes, I got started because of my husband. His back gave out and I was going to have to look for another job. It had no ways, two ways about it. But here's the dirt and ugly. When I got started, I did what they said. I thought I was coachable. Remember, you guys, I told you guys I just needed to make an extra $200 or something. Make sure I had enough for my house payment because I couldn't take any money out of what I was using for the bills and for the kids and things like that. So as soon as I made my extra $200, which didn't take long, maybe 6 months or so around there, I was good. And I kind of backed off. And my upline was, well, what do you mean? And I go, no, I'll still go to things, but I wasn't giving it my all, you guys. I felt like, okay, I had my 200 or whatever. And yeah, people wanted to join me. I was still doing the PBRs or whatever. And if people wanted to join me, good. But I wasn't giving it my all. I wasn't giving it the potential. Remember, back then, I still wasn't doing my PBRs. My upline was doing them for me because I said, no, I'll do this, but I can't talk. I don't like being in the front. I don't want to be the center of attention. They go, Evelyn, it's not about being the center of attention. It's about helping everybody. And I go, well, I will do this, but I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to, be in the back. So in all due respect, my organization kind of went stagnant for quite a while. And then we went to an international and somebody said something about, you got to go get your ACE. And one of my new IBOs was there and he went and got an ACE. And when he brought an ACE in, oh my God, my organization just went crazy. It just tore off. So now I'm making way more than I wanted to make, more than I said I needed. And my upline was like, well, Evelyn, you should be talking now. You should be telling your story. But here's the dirty, ugly thing. I was just thinking about myself, you guys. I wasn't thinking about my team. And when I went to an international and I heard somebody's story about, it's not about you. It's about everybody else. It hit me. And that moment, I knew ACN was in me. There was nothing I could do. It was in me. So when we were in Lake Tahoe and I was around this group, I asked how many people had ever been to an international. One maybe raised their hand. I go, I hope you're not going to be offended, but you know what? ACN's not in you. Just by what you guys told me, it is not in you. I heard one guy say, well, nobody in my family wants to be my customer. Nobody wants to help me. My parents say I'm in a scam. We all hear that, you guys. We all hear that. I had a young guy in my organization. His stepfather went and called all the family and said, hey, Eric's going to be calling you. Hang up. Don't even listen to him. He's doing a scam. But he didn't give up, you guys. He kept going on. We started going to other people. I go, forget your stepfather. We'll keep moving on. You guys, I'm just talking to the people that have been here 2 years plus. If you're still stagnant and still in the same position you are, ACN's not in you. And I'm going to say this, and I know Mr. Thomas can contest, because he literally had to come up to me and he said, okay, Evelyn, you've been playing around too long. You need to move to the next level. And I was, you guys, because again, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to be up on the stage. I didn't want to do the Saturday presentations, where we do the trainings. I didn't want to do any of that. But when he said what he said, and I already put it in my mind, ACN's in me. It's not about me anymore. It's about helping my team. It's about them, because it's not about me. I only wanted to make $200. I surpassed that right away when I got that ace. I didn't bring that ace in. That's the idea. Somebody else did. So you see, you guys, you have to have the no quit attitude. You don't know who's going to bring an ace in. I didn't bring them in. It was like 4 or 5 people down below. Mr. Thomas knows, because when he used to come to Fresno, we had 300-400 people in a room, and it was that one ace that had the room filled up. And it was a young guy. So we all have it in us. So when I heard this young guy complaining and saying in Lake Tahoe, well, I know, I can't just blame my family, but you know what? I'm going to try to stick it out the rest of the year. And I looked at him and I go, how old are you? You can't be more than like 22, 23. And he goes, yeah, I'm around there. And I go, okay, I'm just going to explain something to you. You haven't even worked that much. So you should not even be like with where me. I worked all my life. I used to be a supervisor. I used to do this. I've done a lot of different things, but I had it ingrained in my head that I had to work and be a worker bee all the time. And where people would tell you, hey, you want to go to the, I go, can I go to the bathroom now? You had to ask permission to leave your desk. Can I take my lunch? You had to have permission. You haven't had that yet. I go, you're just starting out. You're a millennial or the next gen or whatever they call you guys. I go, but you should not. And he goes, yeah, you're right. I go, so you should be very eager to learn and to just expand. And, you should be very eager to do this. And he goes, well, I am, but nobody. And I go, no, take that nobody out of the way. I go, you sound the way a lot of us sounded when we first started. And I asked him, are you reading anything other than Sports Illustrated and stuff like that? Are you actually doing self-development? And I had to take myself back, because I thought, who do I sound like? I sound like my upline. I sound like Mr. Thomas. I mean, because that's what they used to tell me. And it was funny and it wasn't. But I was giving him advice and telling him, I hope I didn't offend you in any way. I go, but when you go to an international, you will know what I mean. You hear and meet people that from all different backgrounds. I literally, Mr. Thomas, I literally pointed that way and I go, see that gentleman way at the end in the corner, he's got like, he's bald, I was pointing, I go, nobody in his family ever joined his business. He's an SVP. He goes, really? And I go, yes, he's my upline, way, way up. I go, but if he quit, he wouldn't have it. A lot of us wouldn't be here. No, to this day, nobody's in his organization unless he put him there, like his daughter or somebody like that, you know. And I get it. You want to put your family member, but brothers and sisters, they still think it's a scam. But he's an SVP. I go, he's traveled the world. He's owned banks. He had his own jet and plane. Do you think he cried because nobody from his family would be his customer? And he goes, yeah, you're probably right. I go, I hope you're not offended. I just told him, he goes, no, I appreciate it. And so this other gentleman that was with him, an older guy, was listening, and he goes, you know what? And I go, what? And he goes, you're right. I don't think any of us were being honest now that you said it, because I know I wasn't. And from what you're saying, from what I heard too, he goes, everybody was just going and playing along the motions. I go, exactly. I go, this is not going to work unless you work. And if you guys aren't reading books, because I'm the first one to tell you, I did not like reading. I was not a good reader because to me, I always used to say I was dyslexic. And my husband gets mad when I say this. He goes, why do you tell people that? I go, because I am. He goes, no, you're not. You don't know that. I go, yeah, because it would take me a long time to retain something. And when I'm, as a supervisor, when I'm typing something to my, when I was working to my department, I would type stuff, what I'm thinking in my head. And then I read it back and I go, what the heck? That's not what I was thinking. So I would think I was dyslexic because everything I was thinking did not come out the way, So I had to reread everything. And he just laughs. He goes, you're not dyslexic. And I go, well, it just takes me a long time to retain. And that's okay, you guys. We don't all have to be A students right away. That's what this is about. We're learning as we're growing. And if you're not growing, you're not learning. I'm just saying, we can be all in these platforms that Mr. Thomas puts forward, and then what we on all the Zoom calls, because I'm in other ones too in the morning on Saturdays. I still get in the Saturday training. I need it to retain it. I'm one of those. The more I hear it, the easier it comes out. The verbiage comes out whether you want it to or not. I never thought I could say all this stuff that I told that kid, but guess what? I heard it all the time being said to me. So when things are being said to you and they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, they're not trying to be mean. They're just trying to help you so you can move forward. You retain it and it works. I never used to use the favor, help, try. I never did until I went to an event and I saw some SVPs talking about it and how they did it. And I said, you know what? Maybe I should do that. And when I did that, I jumped over 100 points, you guys. People want to know why you're doing what you're doing, not just to make money. Because that's what I told that kid. Did you ever think that maybe people don't believe in you? Maybe they don't want to see you succeed? Because he kept saying, not even my friends will be my customers. Forget it. A lot of I go, you know what we tell people now when we get them in and we're launching them? Let's get all the bad negativity out of you right away. Let's call your family. Let's call the people you know, because they're the ones that are probably not going to support you. If you're fortunate enough to have family that support you, great. But let's go through your friends. Let's go through your friends, because some of them may not support you. And we want you to see that up front, because we don't want you to panic and get like, oh, they're not going to help me and blah, blah, blah. So what? So what, you guys? So what? They're not going to help you. You need to help yourself first. They need to see the change in you. They need to see the new you come out, not the one that's fun and likes to party and go here and there all the time. I'm not saying you need to completely change, but that law of attraction, it works. If you're acting like a goofball all the time and giggling and laughing and doing silly stuff that people, we know what, even in the training, they talk about that in Lake Tahoe, the law of attraction. you're running around with a bunch of people that are maybe cursing and saying things that we shouldn't be saying, and then you see somebody you want to prospect, do you think they're going to really take you serious when they just heard you cursing, down the sidewalk? No. So you need to position yourself when you're ready to be able to approach these people the right way. Oh, did I freeze? Can you guys hear me? Okay. So I hope I'm not offending anybody, but during that whole thing, I felt like I was talking to every little person in my group, and I didn't even know these people. I can't even remember their names. That's how bad I am. There was a lady next to me too, and I know she got offended because she was a business person, and that's okay. But her mentality was, I own businesses. I don't need to help all these people. They just need to follow me. And I just let it go. I said, well, in my experience, people follow people if they're saying the right things and they're doing the right things. If you're just all about yourself, they will pick up on that. And that was me in the beginning, you guys. I don't know if they picked up on it, but I was giving them the dirty ugly. Like, I made my 200, I'm good. I'm just sitting back and whatever. But once I got to start feeling the way I felt and have ACN in me, and that it's not about me and it's about everybody else, everybody started working, and it just felt so much better. It's like getting something off of your chest, I felt so much better. And the first time I gave that story, I literally cried to people I didn't even know because I was telling them the story. So when I told this group my story, they looked at me and they just said, wow, you know what, you make a lot of sense. It's not about us. It's about, and maybe we should, start doing this more and that more and whatever. I go, if you want people to follow you. And when that kid said, I'm going to try to do it, and I go, no, don't say you're going to try, because people that say they're going to try aren't going to do anything. They're the first ones to leave. You prove to those people that doubted you, even your parents, that you're not a quitter. You're not a quitter. Even if it takes you 5 or 6 years to be RD, so what? You're still not a quitter. I go, because one day, somebody in your organization is going to bring an ace, and it's going to catapult you way up, and you're going to shine like the superstar you're meant to be. And he looked at me and he, it's like he wanted to give me a hug, but he doesn't know me. And he said, thank you so much. And I kind of patted him on the back. I go, I'm only telling you this because I saw a lot of you in me when I first started, way back, and he goes, well, how long have you been in this? I go, it's going to be almost 10 years now. I go, but remember, I just did this very part-time. Like, I just need, I go, now I'm doing it because I want to, and I want to help as many people as I can. You know what, you guys, I can't think of doing anything else. This is my journey. Before I leave, I wanted to bring, I sent Jabri a video that I wanted to put on, because I think it kind of plays in this. We need to just be who we're meant to be.
Ain't no elevator to the top. You got to take the stairs. The elevator don't go to the top, man. Not in the world of success. You have control of this. This belongs to you. This is yours. You're the captain. You're the master. You're the foreman. You're the general. You're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody. Get off of Instagram and Snap, and get off all these blogs, and get into something that can really, really move your life forward. Listen, getting successful, it's not a magic trick. You can decide to be rich. It's highly doable. But you first have to think it. The difference between successful people and non-successful people is here. I'm no better than none of y'all. If you want to be successful, you have to change this. This has to change. Listen to me. It's not, what makes it hard is your lack of belief that it can happen for you. The fact of it is, though, it's very doable. See, but you got to change, though. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. So if you're at a place in your life and you ain't happy with it, you have to change some things. But you have to make a conscientious decision that you're going to change. And it's not dependent on anybody else. It don't matter what your mama think. It don't matter what your coworkers think. It don't matter what your siblings think. It don't matter what your children think. It don't matter. They have nothing to do with it. This decision is yours and yours alone. Let me tell you something. You get to decide if I'm gonna be rich, poor, mediocre, plentiful, happy, sad. You have a decision to make.
Okay, you guys, the reason I wanted to put that on there, because you guys have a decision. Those of you that have been here longer, you have a decision. Do you want this to work? Do you want this to work for you? Because if you want this to work for you, you've got to make a decision. Is ACN in here? Is ACN in here? Or are you just going through the motions? Are you just getting on all these little programs and just going through the motions? Because if ACN's not in here in your heart, you might make some money, but you're not going to be successful. You're not going to be where you want to be. Sam Foster knows what I'm talking about because he saw it there in Lake Tahoe. You know, you guys have got to make a decision and not listen to the people that are trying to bring you down. Don't listen to them, you guys. To me, that would encourage me to make sure I make it. So the doubters can say, I can't believe you stuck it out. I can't believe you did this. I have some doubters down the street. You still doing that? And I go, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I do that? I'm helping people. I'm making money. I'm having fun. You know what I'm saying? I'm educating people on what we need to do. I'm not going to wait for a check from the government, some stimulus or something. I'm not trying to downgrade any of that, but no, that's not me. I was always brought up to work hard. From the age of 5, I was brought up to work hard. So I have a work ethic that is hard. So that's something you can't teach people when they're older. They got to get it when they're young. So that's my message, you guys. I hope it resonated to some of you. And for those of you that have not made it to Lake Tahoe, I'm serious. I look at some of these pit people here that I know have been in the business for well over a year or 2 or more. You need to go. You need to experience the exercise, the one-on-one camaraderie, because they have you practice everything. It's not just them talking. You're going to practice one-on-one with different people. And it works better if you get away from your upline and the people you came with. Practice with people you don't know. Do you understand? You know, Brian Baker knows that because he was doing that. We're all moving around, trying to work with other people. I was never good at any of this. Never. But I now can do the 1 through 10 pretty fast. And I can now do my Zoom calls even faster. The more I come to these things, the more it instills in me how to do it more correctly. Do you understand? And it'll happen for you guys too. It will. So like I said, I hope this resonates to some of you, because to me, I continue to go to Lake Tahoe for a reason. And I hope to bring more people next time. But if I can't, I'm going to go, because guess what? When I get there, I'll bring it back and I'll try to, trickle it down. So Mr. Thomas, that's my story.